Hey guys, so today we're going to try and fix an iPad Pro 11-inch 3rd gen with a charging problem. When this iPad came in, it had a pretty busted charging port. Well, it wasn't too bad, but one of the pins was uh, ground down or mashed in, and it was bridging to the pins next to it. Let me show you what we're dealing with. Okay, so the symptoms on the iPad so far are it came in with a damaged charging port. This pin is badly damaged and it's bridging to its neighbors. Now, even with a new charging port installed, the iPad still doesn't charge. Now, when I plug it into the charger, on the amp meter, it just draws, oh, you can see it on the microscope. Perfect. It draws 5 volts and then about 0.3 amps, goes up to 0.4, but then it just restarts over and over. Now, when I checked the iPad with a port tester, it showed that the D+ line on the port has an open line. Now, let me show you what that means. So if we check in diode mode, the pin 5 and 6 from the right side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it should be about 0.6 voltage drop to ground, and then pin 6 is showing an open line. Now, that is obviously not correct. It should be about 0.6 voltage drop to ground. If we check the board view, that line goes directly to this group of 4 resistors at the top, and then it connects to the CD3217. So if I measure on these resistors, all of them except one have a diode mode reading of 0.73, whereas this guy, the second one from the right, shows open line. So the next step in this case would be to measure the resistors itself and make sure that they're okay. So if we first check one of the resistors that we know have a good diode mode reading, it shows, here, let me make sure it's making good contact. It's got a diode mode reading of 0.7 ohms. Now, even this resistor with the bad diode, with the open line, still shows a resistance of 0.7 ohms. So that tells me that the resistor itself is okay. So at this point, if we check the schematic or the board view, it connects directly to CD3217. So I'm guessing that CD3217 has gone bad. So let us change that chip and we'll see if that fixes it. Now, I've measured around CD3217 already, and I don't see any bad signatures or short circuits on the multimeter. So at this point, the only thing that I found was incorrect was the open line for the D+ line. So we're going to take CD3217 off, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Or rather, we'll replace CD3217, and we'll see if that makes a difference. So I'm going to use 380 Celsius at 60 airflow to take it off. So I'm using 380 Celsius at 60 airflow. And that should be more than enough to take the chip off. Excellent. Chip is off. Let me tin the pads on the board. I'm going to use some leaded solder. Actually, I'm going to use some low melt to tin the pads, and then we'll braid them. Now, there is enough spacing between the pads on the CD3217 where I technically don't need to braid it. But if I braid the chip, it just tends to sit flatter on the board. Now, when braiding the pads on the board, got to make sure you're not applying too much pressure because you could easily scratch the PCB, and that's just not good. Like if you have a scratched PCB, it will cause all sorts of problems when you go to put the chip on if you don't repair the scratched PCB mask. And even if you are able to repair it, it's just extra work for no reason. Excellent. Now that the board has been prepared, let's put a bit of flux on the board and then we'll put the replacement chip on. Excellent. Let's nudge the chip. Perfect. So the chip has been installed. We'll let the board cool down and then we'll measure that resistor and see if the reading for D+ line is back. All right, so with the new CD3217 installed, let us measure that same resistor in diode mode. And look at that, we have 0.7 voltage drop to ground. We've got the same voltage drop on both sides. And then if we check the pin on the charging port directly, so it was pin 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it has a voltage drop of 0.7. That is excellent. Now, the only thing remaining is let's plug it in and let's see if it charges. So I'm going to grab the known good charging port. Let's plug that in. Then we grab the charger. Let us plug that in. Oh, it couldn't have been that easy, could it? So now it sits at, so right now it sits at 5 volts, 0.4 amps. Or this has a lot of decimal places, so it's 5 volts, 0 amps. So it's just drawing 40 milliamps of power, which is not nearly enough. Let us quickly measure the voltage around the CD3217 and we'll make sure it's generating its LDOs. So we've got 5 volts coming in, got the 1.5 volt line present, 3.4, and 0.3. So the 3.3 volt LDO is not present. Now I think it might be a problem with the ACE chip because these guys are programmed. So if the ACE chip is not present, or if the ACE programming does not match the CD3217, it will not work. So let's take that chip off, we'll reprogram it, and let's see if that makes a difference. So the ACE is in the top left corner. Just going to mark the board in order to make sure I remember. Now, technically, I don't need to braid the pads under the ACE chip. They are pretty large, but this way we can reball the chip and line it up nicely. And we can be absolutely sure that all the pads are properly attached. Now, since this is a QFN, I could just tin the pads and put it on the board. But since we have a stencil for it, we'll be better off reballing the whole chip. Okay, let me grab the ACE SPI programmer. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I have the programmer on. I have the chip installed in the programmer already. Let's do check chip first, and it says no chip detected. So it looks like that short circuit damaged the ACE chip itself. Let me see if I have a replacement, and then we'll try reprogramming that one, but we won't even be able to take a copy of the dump from this chip. That is unfortunate. All right, I've just grabbed a replacement ACE chip. Now this has been harvested from another donor, but we will have to reprogram this chip with a dump of the iPad's ROM. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me just reball this chip and prepare it. And actually, before I even reball the chip, I'll just tin it, clean it. We'll make sure we're able to reprogram it, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're going to get rid of the bad chip, set it aside. Then we'll put the good one in. Excellent. Now it shows SPI chip detected. Perfect. Now let's hit read. Perfect. It is able to read the chip as well. Now I'm going to plug this chip to the PC, and it has an upgrade or update. We'll do that later. Let me just plug it into the PC, and let's see. And I'll screen record it, and I'll use the PC software to write the dump on the chip. Okay, so on the chip, on the PC, it says detected SPI chip, which is perfect. Now, let us hit open. So the iPad model that we have right now is an A2459. So we're going to write that dump onto this chip. And write, and continue. Now let us click on read once more, and actually it has a check button as well. Let's click on check, and it will verify the chip and make sure that the chip is in good health. Okay, it says checking over, the data is correct. So the chip check passes, and then let us click on read, and we'll make sure that the data we've copied matches. All right, the data has been copied. Now let's put the chip on the iPad. All right, let us reball the ACE chip, and then we'll install it on the iPad, and hopefully it will work. We'll let the board cool down, and then we'll test it. All right, so the iPad has cooled down sufficiently. Let us plug it in, and we'll see if it works. And I think if I turn off the light on here, we might be able to see the amp meter better. All right. Excellent. We have 15 volts. Fantastic. So after replacing CD3217 and the ROM, the device is fixed. I'm going to plug it in, and we'll make sure that it boots. But that is a good sign. Let's move the port over. And it still works. Excellent. Look at that. Device is fixed. If you have an iPad that died suddenly, you can mail it in, and I'll be able to fix it for you. Fantastic. All right, so the iPad Pro 11-inch 4th gen, no, iPad Pro 11-inch 3rd gen is assembled, and it is now working. And if I plug it in, it shows it's charging, and it has a good charging current, 15 volts at 0.8 amps. Device is fixed. Let me unplug that, plug it in again. Excellent.